Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the endless demands of modern life? Caught in the cycle of meeting others' expectations, chasing perfection, or constantly comparing yourself to everyone else on social media? In a world filled with distractions and judgment, it's so easy to lose sight of what truly matters, the quiet, unshakable peace that comes from within. True inner peace doesn't come from likes, promotions, or praise. It comes from mastering yourself, staying calm, centered, and focused amidst the chaos. Through the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, we learn a liberating truth. We don't need to control the unpredictable world around us. We only need to master our own thoughts, emotions, and actions. This is the secret to reclaiming your strength and serenity, no matter what life throws at you. What I'm about to share isn't just philosophy, it's a set of practical, life-changing principles shaped by ancient wisdom and modern struggles alike. These are lessons that will empower you to stay grounded in a fast-paced, chaotic world. So take a deep breath, step away from the noise, and join me as we uncover together the 10 Stoic secrets to reclaiming your peace and mastering your life. Let's start this transformative journey here and now. Number 1, rediscovering self-love. In a society that often places romantic love on a pedestal, with movies portraying fairy tale endings and social media awash in the perfect snapshots of couple goals, it's easy to feel like finding the one is the ultimate key to happiness. But have you ever paused to wonder, what if true happiness isn't about someone else completing you? Stoicism invites us to look beyond this fleeting idea and teaches us that the deepest form of happiness begins from within, in nurturing an unconditional love for yourself. This kind of self-love isn't about arrogance or self-centeredness, but is firmly rooted in understanding who you are, embracing both your strengths and imperfections with patience and respect. It's about treating yourself as your own best friend, capable of uplifting yourself without the need for constant external validation. Think about it. Those moments when life feels heavy, perhaps after a heartbreak or a time when you felt invisible or undervalued. You might question your worth, wondering if you're enough. But what happens when you shift that energy inward, realizing that your value doesn't diminish regardless of what someone else thinks or does? Self-love gives you the incredible ability to rise from life's hardest moments with strength that comes from inside, not by erasing pain, but carrying it with grace as part of your story. Reflect on this. How differently would you navigate life if you believed, truly believed, that you are whole as you are, deserving of kindness, both from others and yourself? When you embrace self-love, something beautiful happens. You no longer seek relationships, friendships, or even achievements to complete you. Instead, you attract people and experiences that truly matter, ones rooted in genuine connection and mutual respect. I once heard a story of a woman who, after years of putting everyone else first, finally made time for herself. She picked up an old hobby, painting, and in doing so found immense joy she hadn't felt in years. This joy overflowed into her relationships, helping her reconnect with neglected friends over coffee, laughter, and meaningful conversation. Suddenly, her relationships became richer because they weren't driven by obligation, but by a shared appreciation of life's simplest pleasures. Could this be your story too? Where prioritizing yourself enriches not just you, but the way you value the people around you? Self-love also has a ripple effect that reaches far beyond your personal world. When you truly nurture and care for yourself, you become more aware of others, more empathetic to the struggles of those around you. How often do we neglect small but meaningful acts, checking in with a neighbor, volunteering for a cause, or simply offering a compliment because we're too drained from living only for others' expectations? Self-love fills your cup so you can give to others from a place of abundance, creating connections that spread kindness and humanity in profound ways. These acts may seem small on the surface, but their impact often goes farther than you imagine. Ask yourself, what could change in your daily interactions if you showed up as your best, most fulfilled self? Loving yourself doesn't mean turning away from romantic love, but it does mean not relying on it to define your happiness. Instead, it's about finding joy in the smaller, quieter moments of life. A peaceful morning spent journaling by the window, the serenity of a sunset walk just for you, or the triumph of a personal goal you accomplished with dedication. It's these moments that remind you just how full and worthwhile life can be, all on its own. In these small yet powerful acts of self-fulfillment, you discover not only who you are, but also how much you're capable of creating your own happiness. In the end, life doesn't need a romantic subplot to feel extraordinary. Sometimes the most fulfilling chapters are written from appreciating yourself, cherishing genuine relationships, and spreading kindness in a world often too quick to overlook it. Self-love isn't just a buzzword or a temporary affirmation. It's an ongoing journey, a practice of finding freedom and happiness that comes from within. As you take that first step toward rediscovering love for yourself, ask, what's stopping you from giving yourself the care, compassion, and joy you so freely give to others? Because once you start, you'll find that self-love doesn't just change the way you feel, it transforms the way you live. Number 2, finding peace in solitude and time. Have you ever found yourself at the end of a long day, wondering where all your time went? Perhaps it slipped between the endless meetings, unfinished to-do lists, or hours scrolling through your phone? In the busyness of modern life, we often forget that time, unlike money, is the most precious asset we have. Once spent, it can never be regained. Seneca once wisely said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." And isn't that true? How often do we let the noise around us dictate how we spend our days, leaving little to no space for ourselves? What if, instead of rushing to keep up with societal pressures, we slowed down and carved out time to nurture our own souls? Picture starting your day differently, not by mindlessly grabbing your phone and getting sucked into messages or social media, but by sitting for a moment of stillness, a moment to take a deep breath and remind yourself of what truly matters: your dreams, your well-being, your happiness. This isn't just a small habit, it's a powerful shift that sets the tone for how you approach the gift of time. Stoicism teaches us that peace isn't something outwardly gained, but something we discover within ourselves. As Marcus Aurelius so elegantly stated, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." Embracing solitude isn't about being lonely or isolating yourself. It's about building a sanctuary within where you can hear your own thoughts, free from the distractions of the world. Let me share a story with you about a college student who felt like she was drowning in chaos. Exams piling up, family expectations weighing heavily, and every free moment spent on her phone keeping up with others' lives. One weekend, completely drained, she decided to unplug and hike alone in a nearby park. As she walked through the stillness of the trees, her mind started to clear. For the first time in months, she asked herself what she really wanted for her life. Slowly, it dawned on her. She wasn't pursuing her own dreams, but living to meet others' expectations. That day, she decided to make a change. She started journaling every morning, dedicating small chunks of time to herself, and set boundaries to protect her solitude. It wasn't an easy shift, but the more time she spent listening to herself, the clearer and more confident she became in her decisions. Have you ever felt like you needed just one quiet moment to see your life more clearly? Perhaps it's not that clarity is missing, but that we aren't giving ourselves the silence necessary to hear it. In this life filled with distractions, Stoicism reminds us to ask, what truly matters to me? And am I using my time wisely? These aren't questions to overwhelm you, but ones to help uncover your priorities. When you consciously pause and reflect, you begin to reclaim your time, not for the demands of others, but for your own growth and joy. Maybe it's those few minutes sipping coffee in the quiet morning, a solitary walk in the park after work, or an evening without screens to reconnect with your thoughts. The time you dedicate to yourself may feel small, but its impact is immeasurable. Each moment of reflection equips you with strength, not just to face life's chaos, but to live in alignment with your authentic self. So I ask you, how are you spending your time? Are you filling each day with noise and obligations? Or are you carving out moments to listen to yourself, to connect with what truly brings you joy? Solitude and reflection aren't spaces of emptiness. They are the places where meaning is discovered and inner peace is cultivated. When you pause to truly reflect on your life and how your time is spent, you'll find calm rising within you, like a deep breath of fresh air. And as you embrace these moments, you'll not only reclaim your time, but rediscover yourself in the process. Take this step toward finding peace in your time in solitude. It's not just a choice, but a journey toward a more intentional, fulfilling life. Number 3, building strength through self-reliance. Self-reliance is one of the greatest strengths you can nurture within yourself, a gift that unlocks true independence and inner power. In our modern world, where we're constantly comparing ourselves to others or seeking validation through social media, applause, or the approval of those around us, we can quickly lose sight of our own resilience. But self-reliance acts as a lighthouse, guiding you back to your genuine self, even amidst the chaos. To rely on yourself is not to reject others, but to rediscover the strength that comes from within. The kind of strength that reminds you that no matter what life throws your way, you have what it takes to keep standing tall. Have you ever paused during a particularly tough day and asked yourself, can I get through this on my own? In moments when criticism stings or external support feels absent, it's often your inner resolve, not someone else's approval, that will carry you forward. Stoicism reminds us that the more you trust yourself, the less power others have over your emotions. Think about your worst workday. Your boss isn't happy, deadlines are piling up, your colleagues don't seem supportive, and you feel like nothing is going right. What gets you through such a day? It's not the comforting words of others or external reassurances, but the inner belief that you can learn from mistakes and persevere no matter what. Asking yourself, do I need someone else to lift me up, or can I rise on my own, is a powerful shift in thinking. Self-reliance stems from choosing to face challenges with determination instead of looking for a lifeline. It doesn't mean rejecting help or isolating yourself. It simply means recognizing that your strength is enough to start and continue the journey. You might take small, practical steps, like learning to manage your finances independently. Picture this. Instead of leaning on someone else to set up a budget for you, you take the reins, track your spending, set savings goals, and celebrate when those goals are met. It's more than a practical skill. It's an affirmation that you can take control of your life and choices. In a world filled with noise and expectations, self-reliance also means discovering joy and simplicity. Have you ever felt alone even when surrounded by people? Those moments, reflective as they may be, often make us question our need for external fulfillment. Can you enjoy your own company without needing constant validation from the outside world? Picture yourself sipping tea in a quiet corner, jotting down your thoughts, or taking a peaceful walk surrounded by nature. These practices might feel small, but they are profound steps toward building confidence in your ability to be content on your own. Isn't it a relief to know that your happiness doesn't have to depend on someone else's presence or approval? The more you embrace this, the more empowered you'll feel to focus on your life, your choices, and your goals. As you embrace self-reliance, you'll notice a shift in how you view life. Daily pressures stop feeling like a race to meet others' expectations, and instead, you gain a sense of peace that comes from knowing your worth isn't tied to someone else's validation. You'll realize that you don't need anyone to complete you because you are already whole. In fact, your quiet confidence and independence will not only elevate your own life, but also inspire others around you. It's in those moments of self-assurance that you understand how resilient you truly are, standing tall in your own strength and power. Ask yourself, what's one small step you can take today toward relying on yourself? Is it setting boundaries, learning a new skill, or even simply speaking kindly to yourself in moments of doubt? Every small action builds your self-reliance. This life is yours to design, a melody that only you can compose, and there is incredible power in trusting your ability to steer your own path. Remember, self-reliance isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Every step, no matter how small, is a step toward becoming your strongest, most independent self. In every challenge and triumph, remind yourself that you've always had the strength within you. Start your journey now and affirm your power with this thought. I choose self-reliance because by choosing it, you're embracing a life that is fulfilling, meaningful, and entirely your own. So where will your first step take you? Number 4, learning to say no with confidence. Learning to say no can feel uncomfortable, even daunting, but it is one of the most empowering gifts you can give to yourself. It's not just about denying a request, it's a bold declaration of self-worth, a statement that says, I respect my time, my energy, and my values. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher, once urged us to ask, is this necessary? This question is deceptively simple but profoundly important. It helps us cut through the distractions and obligations that drain us and reminds us to prioritize what truly matters. Think for a moment about your own life. How often do you find yourself saying yes to things you don't really have the time, energy, or even desire to do? Does agreeing to every request or invitation leave you fulfilled? Or does it leave you feeling empty and spread thin? Let's put this in a modern, relatable context. Picture this. You're at work, swamped with your own deadlines, when a colleague hurriedly asks you to help with a task they've neglected until the last minute. You hesitate, feeling torn between a desire to be a team player and the reality of your already overwhelming workload. If you say yes, you risk compromising your own responsibilities and peace of mind. But if you say no with honesty and tact, not out of malice but out of respect for your boundaries, you preserve your time and focus for what truly matters. Saying no doesn't make you selfish. It makes you someone who values themselves. Have you ever felt resentful after agreeing to something you didn't have the capacity for? That resentment is often a sign that a boundary has been crossed, not by the other person, but by your own hesitation to protect your limits. Saying no is a skill, like any other, and it takes practice to build confidence. Start small. Decline an invitation to an event that doesn't align with your priorities, or excuse yourself from a conversation that brings negativity into your day. Over time, you'll notice that saying no doesn't make people think less of you. In fact, it often earns their respect. Genuine relationships flourish when they're built on mutual understanding, not on sacrificing your well-being to meet someone else's demands. Those who truly value you will respect your boundaries, and those who don't were probably never worth your energy in the first place. Reflect on this. Is there someone in your life who frequently makes you feel taken advantage of or unappreciated? Setting boundaries with that person might feel uncomfortable at first, but it's a necessary step toward living with authenticity and self-respect. Stoicism teaches us that freedom, the ultimate goal in life, comes not from controlling others, but from mastering oneself. Epicurus once said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life," and that freedom begins when we take back control of how we spend our time and energy. When you reserve your yes for the opportunities, people, and activities that align with your values, you create space for growth, fulfillment, and balance. Saying no is not about shutting others out. It's about deeply caring for yourself so you can fully show up for what matters most. When you embrace the power of no, You not only free yourself from unnecessary burdens, but also give yourself the space to nurture your body, mind, and soul. Maintaining a balance between your well-being and your obligations transforms your life. It may mean choosing a peaceful moment of reflection over an obligation that stretches you too thin, or prioritizing a restful evening over meeting another's expectations that don't resonate with your goals. In the end, learning to say no isn't about closing doors. It's about choosing which ones are worth stepping through. So I ask you, are you saying yes to the things that matter? Or are you saying yes out of fear, obligation, or habit? Take that first step today and honor your own boundaries. You'll find that by preserving your energy and self-respect, you unlock a life that is not only more vibrant, but also deeply meaningful. Number 5, caring for yourself inside and out. Caring for yourself inside and out is one of the most powerful and meaningful journeys you can embark on. True self-care isn't about impressing others or chasing admiration. It's a quiet but deeply impactful declaration. I deserve to be loved, respected, and cherished by myself. Stoicism reminds us that self-care is the highest expression of self-respect, a daily commitment to honor your existence by nurturing both your body and your soul. And here's the beauty of it. Real self-care doesn't require extravagant retreats or elaborate routines. It starts with the smallest, simplest gestures. A deliberate moment of fresh air on a busy day can ease your tension and remind you how refreshing just being alive can feel. Preparing a meal with care isn't just about feeding your body. It's an act of kindness to yourself, a way of saying, I am worth the effort. Let's pause for a moment. When was the last time you truly listened to your body? Perhaps life's rush has made you ignore the signals, a restless night of poor sleep, a hurried snack instead of a nourishing meal, or simply living in a constant state of stress. In our fast-paced world, where deadlines stack up and distractions are everywhere, this disconnection from ourselves becomes all too common. But the truth is, a weary, neglected body cannot sustain a peaceful, resilient mind. Think of a busy parent juggling countless responsibilities or a student overwhelmed by constant demands, slowly edging closer to burnout. How often do we tell ourselves there's no time, while neglecting even the most basic acts of care that keep us functioning? Doesn't it seem counterproductive to overlook the very foundation of our well-being in the name of productivity? Taking care of yourself begins as a physical practice but quickly evolves into something deeper. When you prioritize rest, nourish yourself with wholesome food, and hydrate your body, you begin to notice changes that go far beyond the physical. These habits aren't superficial. They form a shield against life's trials. Once you've built this foundation, you can move further. Nurturing your soul. Take time to pause, breathe deeply, and let your thoughts settle. Writing a few lines in a journal can untangle even your most complicated worries. The act of sitting quietly with your thoughts, without judgment or clinging, can bring clarity you didn't think was possible. This isn't indulgence. It's the necessary maintenance of the most important relationship you'll ever have, the one with yourself. What's even more profound is how self-care embodies Stoicism's virtues: discipline, moderation, and wisdom. Waking up early to exercise, even when your bed feels like the perfect escape, is a test of discipline, a moment when you show up for yourself. Choosing moderation and declining that extra slice of cake, even though it's tempting, isn't about deprivation, but about honoring what your body truly needs. And wisdom, the cornerstone virtue, is recognizing that every small act of care you give yourself today is an investment in your future. A future where you wake up feeling energized, at peace, and ready to take on challenges with confidence. Self-care is never about proving anything to others. It's not about looking perfect or fitting into someone else's idea of what a fulfilling life should be. Instead, it's about saying to yourself every day, I won't abandon you, I matter. It's about fostering dignity and strength from within. So let me ask you, what have you done today to show yourself love and care? Have you given yourself even a few moments to feel valued and honored by the person who matters most? You? Sometimes all it takes is a small action, like savoring your morning tea instead of rushing, or stepping outside for a breath of fresh air to shift the course of your entire day. These little choices are powerful because they remind you that your well-being is worth prioritizing, no matter how busy life gets. Remember, this journey isn't about giant leaps. Small but intentional steps will always pave a clearer, more sustainable path to self-love and resilience. Every moment you dedicate to nurturing yourself, be it through restful sleep, a nourishing meal, or quiet introspection, is a moment that gets you closer to your best self. The effort you put in today lays the foundation for a future where you feel balanced, strong, and truly connected to who you are. So as you continue this journey, keep asking yourself, how can I honor my body, my mind, and my soul today? Because ultimately, you're worth every ounce of care and compassion you give yourself. Number 6, managing personal finances with ease. Managing your personal finances may seem like a daunting task, but with the right mindset, it transforms into a powerful tool for freedom and peace of mind. Stoicism teaches us that true wealth isn't about accumulating endless possessions, but about mastering our desires and finding contentment in what we already have. Epicurus put it beautifully. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. This philosophy challenges the modern tendency to tie our happiness to material things, reminding us that the key to financial well-being lies not in how much we earn, but in how intentionally we manage and value what we have. Personal finance management isn't just about budgeting or cutting back on spending. It's about shaping a life guided by purpose, balance, and self-control. Think about this for a moment. How often do payday splurges leave you with short-term joy, but long-term regret? You get that salary deposit, and suddenly the urge to grab the latest gadget or plan a lavish dinner party kicks in. The thrill might last a day or maybe a week, but when the excitement fades, you're left with an empty wallet, a pile of expenses, and the lingering question, was that worth it? Many of us use spending as a way to comfort ourselves, disguise our insecurities, or project an image of success. Yet as Stoicism reminds us, joy doesn't come from indulgence. It comes from simplicity and living with clarity. Let me share a personal story. I used to believe that happiness meant showing people I was successful through extravagant purchases and parties. It felt good in the moment, but as my savings shrank while the thrill wore off, I found myself feeling stressed and empty. Realizing this, I decided it was time to make a change, not by denying myself everything I loved, but by aligning my spending with my goals and values. I started with small steps, tracking my expenses, setting realistic savings goals, and cutting back on things that didn't add value to my life. For example, instead of regular impulse buys, I redirected that money toward investments in my future, like enrolling in online courses to develop new skills and setting aside a solid emergency fund. And let me tell you, the shift was transformative. No longer did I feel the anxiety of living paycheck to paycheck. With a growing sense of financial stability came a profound sense of freedom, a freedom that allowed me to focus on the things that truly mattered, like spending time with loved ones, pursuing personal growth, and planning for the future without fear. Have you ever asked yourself, how would my life change if I had control over my money instead of letting my money control me? Managing your finances isn't about restricting yourself to a bare minimum or living a joyless life. Far from it. It's about understanding what brings genuine value to your existence. Marcus Aurelius offers a timeless piece of wisdom. If you seek tranquility, do less, or more precisely, do only what's essential. This mindset applies perfectly to spending. When you stop chasing unnecessary luxuries and focus on priorities, the things that enrich your life, expand your horizons, or help you grow, you'll feel a new sense of power over your finances. Whether it's saving for a meaningful trip that fills your soul with memories, investing in your education to unlock new opportunities, or sharing simple but cherished moments with friends and family, you'll begin to view your spending as a reflection of your values, not a reaction to fleeting desires. And here's an important realization. Money is just a tool, not the final goal. When you treat it as a resource to create a life of peace and purpose, rather than a means to fleeting status or indulgence, you'll see how financial security becomes the foundation for freedom. It allows you to make choices aligned with your true self, reducing stress, and letting you live without the heavy burden of financial uncertainty. So next time you reach for your wallet, pause and ask, will this expense truly improve my life? If the answer is no, you already know the path of wisdom. True wealth isn't about how much you possess. It's about how wisely you spend, save, and invest your resources to align with the life you want to lead. In the end, the greatest riches are peace of mind and a sense of control over your own life. Stoicism teaches us that with discipline, self-awareness, and intentional choices, we can free ourselves from the anxiety of financial struggles. Start small, set clear priorities, and build habits that lead to independence and security. Financial freedom isn't just a dream, it's a practice. And with each intentional step, you'll create a life where money becomes a source of support, not stress. So how will you take control of your finances today? Number 7, maintaining dignity in relationships. In a world full of noise, expectations, and pressures to fit into roles that others construct for us, preserving your dignity in relationships isn't just a choice. It's a path to true freedom and self-respect. Dignity isn't something you achieve by earning others' approval or through fleeting acknowledgement. It's the courageous act of staying true to yourself, even when faced with opposition, rejection, or misunderstanding. Marcus Aurelius expressed this beautifully when he said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." Dignity is about living in alignment with your values, standing firm in your principles, and refusing to compromise your essence to meet the expectations or demands of others. Picture a moment at work where you're asked to cover up a mistake or participate in something unethical. You're fully aware that saying no could mean isolating yourself from colleagues or missing out on a promotion. Yet choosing to decline quietly and continuing your work with honesty is a shining example of dignity, not boastful, not confrontational, but quietly resolute. Far too often, we sacrifice our dignity for fear of upsetting others or losing their approval. Have you ever nodded in agreement during a conversation when deep down you felt completely opposed to what was being said, just to keep the peace? Or agreed to something that didn't align with your values just to avoid the discomfort of saying no? That hollow feeling you experience afterward, of betraying your own beliefs, is living proof that dignity can never be traded for external validation. Respecting yourself is the foundation of true confidence, and from this foundation, you build relationships based on trust and sincerity rather than a need to please. The truth is, when you stand firm in your values, you give others permission to do the same, creating a dynamic rooted in genuine connection rather than pretense. This principle isn't limited to professional or social settings. It's just as important in love. If you find yourself constantly reshaping who you are or suppressing your feelings to meet a partner's expectations, ask yourself, is this relationship fulfilling or is it turning into a burden? Being in a healthy partnership doesn't mean abandoning parts of yourself to earn love. True dignity in relationships comes from being honest about your emotions, needs, and boundaries. When you stay true to yourself, you not only maintain your own dignity, but also create space for a healthier, more balanced connection where authenticity thrives. Seneca advises us to associate with those who will make a better man of you. This is a reminder that respect starts with yourself, and when you uphold your integrity, you naturally attract people who value and uplift you, not those who drain you or push you to change into someone you're not. Dignity isn't merely about how others perceive you. It's about the calm, unshakable confidence that comes from knowing you are living authentically. It is both a lighthouse that guides you through life's challenges and a warm, gentle light that leaves an impression on everyone you encounter. Your quiet strength inspires others without saying a word, and it gives you the resilience to stand firm during life's storms. So ask yourself, are you living truthfully, or are you trying to fit into someone else's mold? Are your relationships built on mutual respect and understanding, or are they dependent on you sacrificing parts of yourself to make them work? Today is the day to declare that you will live with honesty and integrity, that you will no longer betray yourself for the approval of others. Because when you fully embrace your dignity, you unlock a power within that no one can take away, and you invite profound peace into your life. Start now, stand firm, and let your unwavering authenticity be the foundation for every relationship and decision in your life. Number 8, embracing calmness in the chaos of life. Life, much like a rushing river, often moves with an unpredictable current that sweeps us into chaos before we have a chance to fully prepare. Yet in this fast-paced, tumultuous world, serenity isn't about avoiding or escaping the chaos. It's about finding mastery over yourself within it. Stoicism reminds us that true peace doesn't come from controlling the uncontrollable, but from focusing on what lies firmly within our power, our thoughts, reactions, and mindset. Epicurus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This timeless wisdom isn't just an abstract idea. It's a deeply practical key to unlocking calmness in the face of life's challenges. Think of the moments in your own life when everything feels overwhelming. Maybe you're in the middle of a hectic day, stuck in traffic, horns blasting around you, and a meeting starts in 10 minutes. Can you control the traffic? Definitely not. But you can take a breath, sit with the discomfort, and decide to approach the situation differently. Perhaps you use the moment to reflect, listen to a podcast, or simply practice patience. It is in small, everyday moments like these that serenity is found. Not in avoiding chaos, but in choosing how to meet it. Take the example of those who face life and death situations daily. A firefighter walking into raging flames, or a surgeon performing a high-stakes operation under intense pressure. They don't crumble when the stakes are high, not because the fear isn't real, but because they've developed the ability to stay composed. Composure isn't the absence of turmoil, it's the ability to remain steady within it. How often do we let fear or frustration overpower us in moments far less urgent? Marcus Aurelius offers a simple truth. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Think about how liberating it would feel to genuinely apply this to your own life, to accept what you cannot change while taking full ownership of your responses. The next time life feels out of control, ask yourself, can I change this? If the answer is no, why not let go of the unnecessary stress and focus on what truly matters? Consider something as simple as an unexpected rainstorm. You can't stop the rain. You can only decide how to respond, whether you'll stand there in frustration or calmly take out your umbrella. This simple shift in perspective forms the foundation of premeditatio malorum, a Stoic practice for cultivating inner calm. By mentally preparing yourself for setbacks, whether it's receiving harsh criticism, a sudden plan that falls through, or an unexpected loss, you can soften their impact. Each morning, pause for a moment to picture the challenges that might arise. Tell yourself, I am ready for whatever may come. That small act of foresight transforms uncertainty into preparedness, replacing unnecessary anxiety with quiet strength. Doesn't that seem far more manageable and empowering than dreading what the day might bring? Seneca's words offer another layer of insight. If you really want to escape the things that harass you, what you're needing is not to be in a different place, but to be a different person. Peace isn't found by running away from life's storms or wishing for a less chaotic reality. Instead, it lives within the transformation of how we see ourselves in the world. When chaos overwhelms you, imagine yourself as a still lake. Waves might ripple across the surface, but your depth, your calmness, and self-mastery remains untouched. Too often we think of calmness as some distant achievement, something reserved for vacations or special moments. But serenity isn't a destination. It's a choice awaiting you here and now. So I ask you, how will you react the next time life tests you with its chaos? Instead of resisting what's outside of your control, can you shift your energy inward and find the strength you already hold? The lesson Stoicism offers here is simple yet profound. Life's storms will come, but your peace depends on how you face them. Claiming calmness isn't about changing the chaos around us. It's about changing how we respond to it. With every moment of frustration or uncertainty, you're presented with an opportunity to practice this. Remember, the calm you seek has always been inside you, waiting patiently for you to reach for it. Embrace it fully, and you will discover your greatest strength in life's most unpredictable moments. Number 9, speaking less and doing more with purpose. In today's world, where people are often drawn to flashy words and grand promises, the quiet wisdom of Stoicism reminds us that true strength lies not in what we say, but in what we do. Actions, not words, reveal character and build trust. As Epicurus wisely said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." This doesn't mean creating a perfect image of yourself to please others, but instead living with integrity so that your actions alone become the clearest reflection of who you truly are. Have you ever been let down by someone who talked endlessly about what they would do, but when it mattered, their promises became empty words? Perhaps they eagerly agreed to support you on a stressful project, but disappeared when you needed them most. And yet, haven't we all experienced the quiet reliability of a friend, family member, or colleague who, without a word, stepped in to help when you least expected it? Who, in the end, earned your respect more? The one with endless promises or the one with silent, purposeful action? We live in a time where words are cheap. Social media is filled with elaborate posts and high ideals. But how often does what we see actually reflect the actions behind those words? Stoicism encourages us to resist being captivated by superficial distractions and to stay grounded in reality, where actions, not sentiments, define true character. Have you ever paused to reflect on the people in your life and asked yourself whose actions you can truly count on? Stoicism offers this insight. You'll learn more about someone by observing their behavior than by listening to their words. And the same truth applies to us. If we want to live purposefully, our focus should shift from explaining our intentions to simply taking quiet, meaningful steps toward them. What could you accomplish if you replaced long explanations with consistent effort toward your goals? Not only does action reveal authenticity, but it also protects your peace. In both personal and professional relationships, broken promises or unmet expectations are bound to happen. But instead of reacting with frustration, take a step back and observe. How much of your energy is spent feeling disappointed in others' empty words? What if instead, you conserve that energy for actions that truly matter to you? Start small. Complete a task that no one has asked you to do, knowing it will add value and fulfillment to your life. Offer help to someone in need without seeking acknowledgement. Or work quietly toward a personal goal without feeling the need to broadcast your progress. Each of these small but deliberate actions brings you closer to the person you aspire to become and demonstrates a sense of purpose that speaks louder than words ever could. Think about the power of silence combined with action. The world may not notice immediately, but with time, the things you accomplish will speak for themselves. A life lived with purpose inspires others, not through bold claims, but through steady and genuine effort. Let me ask you, are your actions aligned with the values and goals you hold most important? Can your life, as it unfolds through the things you quietly and consistently do, serve as an example to others? When you focus on purposeful living, on doing rather than just speaking, you unlock the ability to inspire trust, respect, and admiration. It's not about attention, it's about alignment. So ask yourself, which speaks louder for you? Actions or words? And what steps can you take today to ensure your actions reflect the truth of who you are? In the end, it's what you do that leaves your mark. And when your actions echo your values, the world can't help but notice. Remember, less talk, more purpose. Let that be your way forward. Number 10, connecting with the tranquility of nature. Picture yourself walking through a forest at dawn as sunlight filters through dew-covered leaves and the soft rustling of branches harmonizes with birdsong in the distance. The air is cool, carrying the earthy scent of moss and fresh wood, and in that moment, everything else fades away. The worries, the deadlines, the noise of the world. What you're left with is a profound sense of calm, a deeper connection to something bigger than yourself. This is the gift nature offers us every single day, a reminder that serenity is never out of reach, if only we pause long enough to reconnect with it. In the rush of modern life, where our minds are often consumed by emails, to-do lists, and constant distractions, nature becomes the grounding force that brings us back to the present moment. Have you ever stood under a wide starlit sky, letting the vastness of the universe shrink your worries into perspective? Those stars, despite being separated by unimaginable distances, come together in harmony, quietly reminding us to embrace patience, persistence, and connection. In those moments, doesn't life feel simpler, more meaningful? Nature also offers us a powerful lesson in surrender. Think about autumn leaves falling gently to the ground. They don't resist the wind or cling to the branches beyond their time. Instead, they let go, becoming part of the greater cycle of life. What are the leaves in your life that you've been holding on to for too long? Fears, grudges, or unnecessary expectations often weigh us down more than we realize. Yet all it takes is a moment of stillness, much like watching those drifting leaves, to give ourselves permission to release these burdens and rediscover a sense of lightness. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means creating space for clarity and peace to settle in. Let me share a moment from my own life. One day during a particularly stressful time, I went for a run in my neighborhood park. Completely overwhelmed, I stopped by a small stream and watched the water calmly weave its way around rocks and roots. The stream didn't fight the obstacles in its path. It adapted, flowing effortlessly yet persistently toward its destination. In that stillness, I saw my own struggles mirrored in the stream. How often do we exhaust ourselves trying to control everything instead of letting life unfold naturally? The stream reminded me that resilience doesn't come from struggling against the current. It comes from learning to flow with what life brings us, finding strength and acceptance. When was the last time you stepped away from everything and allowed yourself the freedom to simply observe, breathe, and take life as it is? Nature, in its quiet wisdom, teaches us to let go, to adopt patience, and to embrace simplicity. Whether it's the stars above, the trees surrounding us, or a small stream carving its path, every element of the natural world reflects lessons we need in our overly complicated lives. When we pause to immerse ourselves in these moments, we're reminded that life doesn't have to be a constant fight. Instead, it can be a rhythm we find peace within. So ask yourself, when was the last time you turned to nature to clear your mind or find clarity? Whether it's a walk in the park, gazing at the night sky, or simply sitting by a tree, allow nature to guide you back to yourself. The trees don't rush to grow, the rivers don't resist their flow, and the stars don't compete to shine. They all simply exist with quiet purpose. And through observing their stillness, we can find our own. The next time you feel weighed down or caught in the chaos of life, step outside and pay attention to what nature is offering you. Even the smallest moments can hold profound lessons in resilience, acceptance, and tranquility. Let the calmness of the natural world remind you that serenity isn't something distant or difficult to find. It's always been within you, waiting for you to pause, let go, and embrace it. Immersing yourself in nature does more than bring peace. It reconnects you with who you are at your core. Every whisper of the wind, every sunbeam, every ripple in a pond feels like nature's way of saying, don't let the chaos out there distract you from the calm within. Take a moment to stop, listen, and let nature guide you. In its stillness, you'll find a quiet strength, a reminder that no matter how overwhelming life may feel, the tranquility you seek is already within you, waiting to be uncovered. We've just explored 10 ways to focus on yourself and stay calm amidst what lies beyond your control. Profound lessons drawn from Stoicism. These are not just principles for living, but keys to unlocking inner peace and the hidden strength within each of us. Life, with all its noise and chaos, sometimes requires only a moment of stillness to help you realize what truly matters. Let these lessons serve as a guiding compass for your journey, quiet yet steadfast, powerful without the need for show. If this video has brought value to you, please hit the like button to let us know you enjoyed the content. Share your thoughts in the comments section. Every insight you share is a precious source of inspiration for us. Don't hesitate to spread this message to your loved ones, and be sure to subscribe to our channel so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos. Thank you for listening and for being part of this meaningful journey with us.